from a month or two back from Louise Akerster, who just lost her job at a Hull care home. See these images.
Goodbye to everybody, all the people that I've cared for so long. This is so unfair. I can't believe what the bloody government is doing to us. I just don't get it. They don't understand. They think that what they're doing is to better everybody, and it's not. It's just not. Oh, God. I can't do it. This is awful.
Well, she's not quite as upset as she was in that particular clip, but I sense there's still a strong sense of resentment because Louise Akerster is here with me in the studio. So you decided not to have the vaccine. Was there any specific reason for that?
There was several. My main one was I didn't trust it yet. You know, it had come about very quickly. It was still in trials, and something just didn't sit right, and I wasn't prepared to put my body at risk for the sake of something that had no long-term data for, something that, you know, was just developed so rapidly and distributed so rapidly without knowing any long-term side effects.
But you lost your job.
I did lose my job. I lost more than my job. I lost everything in the long run, and I still don't regret it to this day, because I know now I've got my health, and the more that people are getting in touch with me and the more I've looked into it, I believe I've made the right decision. OK, you believe you made the right decision? There are 40,000 of you in that. And yet, in the NHS, you could have carried on with your job. There is an unfairness there, isn't there? Absolutely. I think the carers were used as guinea pigs. I believe that the government perhaps, you know, tested the waters with us, and then once they realised how many, you know, staff members they stood to lose, that's perhaps when they decided to do the U-turn, so that there wasn't going to, you know, struggle as much in the NHS.
No, I mean, that's happened with the NHS, completely different approach to the care sector, and yet, you know, we hear that the UK's main university application body is still imposing vaccine mandates on students applying for nursing and social care courses.
Yes, and I know some myself who have been desperate to finish their courses and can't because they don't want to have these vaccines. And when we are already struggling for, you know, nurses, doctors, carers, how are they getting away with it? It's disgusting.
Louise, it seems extraordinary. Alan Miller, you're co-founder of the anti-mandate group. Together, and I have been supporting your campaign on this programme, as you know.
Thank you.
Is there nothing that can be done, firstly, for people like Louise, and there are 40,000 of them, do you get any sense from government there might be a rethink on this?
Well, I think we've seen some encouraging things happen internationally, actually. We've seen a situation where a New York federal judge has overturned the municipal workers' mandate. We've seen Alberta talking about how wrong it was. We've seen also that in the UK, some MPs have started talking about it. One recently said that they were ashamed that they voted for it and it should not have happened. So I think that we are seeing a recognition of how problematic it is. There's a pragmatic conversation, then there's a moral and ethical principle. The principle is about bodily choice and autonomy, and these care workers...
So, just to be clear on that, is this an anti-vaccine campaign?
No, this is a pro-choice and pro-autonomy campaign. At Together, we have many people who've made lots of choices. That's utterly their own choice, and we don't, you know, we have vaccinated and unvaccinated. The campaign against passports and against mandates specifically was about choice and bodily autonomy. Now, as it happens, you know, we have a campaign, as you've talked about, to reinstate, compensate and apologise. Steve Barclay could make a very practical solution that this government could do with some wins. We have over 160,000 vacancies in the sector. People like Louise could be brought back, encouraged, actually celebrated for the long service that was done. We should remind ourselves at the height of the start of things, when no one actually knew what was going on. Then when we saw what happened with Omicron, the idea now that UCAS and the universities are imposing this, not only is it discriminatory, anti-privacy, but actually it has no foundation in science at all either. So you've got a situation where people that could be, you know, the next generation of talent are now not going into that situation, and you've got, you know, this is utterly unacceptable.
So this is a Department of Education issue.
Indeed.
So this is now, your campaign now has to broaden, doesn't it?
It does. Well, so we've got also, you know, a couple of ways of doing this. We have over 300,000 signatories. We encourage them to write to the actual institutions, to the Department of Education, and to their MPs, and actually to the universities, to the heads of the universities, and to make their voices heard. But I think also, you know, what we should do is encourage everyone to have this discussion, because we have every winter we're told we have this crisis in the NHS, but actually this year is a combination of 2 years of lockdown, COVID-only NHS, all the excess deaths we've seen. We do see that there are serious situations here, and we could readily resolve some of it if that people were brave enough to say, you know what, this was a mistake and it was wrong. Yeah. And let's see some credibility in politics, right? Let's see some people fess up to that and resolve it.
I have to say, you know, I had the first 2 vaccines and I thought it was the right thing to do. I didn't have the booster because I was told if I get COVID, it doesn't stop me passing it on. And I think that really was the argument here,
yeah,
you know, for people like you. Mm-hmm. So, as I say, I'm not anti-vaccine, but I'm absolutely pro-choice. I hate government, and now our university is moving to this level. Final thought, would you like your old job back?
I don't think they deserve me.
It's a qualified yes from Louise, I think. Thank you both for coming on, and I really mean it. I'm very pleased and proud to back your campaign.
Thank you.
I think it's absolutely right. Now, before the break, a final thought, the What the Farage moment.